August 15, 1947. A day that would forever change the course of history for the Indian subcontinent. A date etched in the memory of every Indian, a moment of immense pride and profound significance. On this day, India shed the shackles of colonialism and emerged as a free nation. The British, which had ruled for nearly 2 centuries, was finally over. The journey ahead was daunting, the country was divided, and the scars of partition ran deep. The partition had left the country scarred, and the task of building a new nation from the ground up seemed almost impossible. Millions were displaced, and communal violence had taken a heavy toll. Yet, there was an air of hope, a sense of destiny, as millions of Indians dared to dream of a brighter future. The spirit of resilience was palpable. This is the story of India after Gandhi, a tale of triumphs and tribulations, of resilience and reinvention. It is a narrative of a nation that refused to be defined by its past. It is a story best told in Ramachandra Guha's seminal work, India After Gandhi. Guha masterfully weaves together history, politics, and personal narratives to paint a vivid picture of this complex and fascinating nation. His work captures the essence of India's journey. Through his eyes, we witness the birth pangs of a new democracy, the struggles of a nation grappling with its identity, and the emergence of a global power. The democratic process was a new experiment, and India embraced it with fervor. From the ashes of colonialism rose a nation determined to forge its own path. The rebuilding process was arduous, but the collective will of the people was unbreakable. The road ahead was paved with challenges, but the spirit of India, its indomitable will, shone through. The diversity of its people became its strength, and unity in diversity became the nation's mantra. This is the story of that journey, a journey that continues to inspire and captivate the world. From the Green Revolution to the IT boom, from space exploration to cultural renaissance, India's story is one of continuous evolution and progress. As we look back on these transformative years, we see a nation that has not only survived but thrived, a nation that has made its mark on the global stage. This is the saga of India, a land of ancient wisdom and modern marvels, a beacon of hope and resilience for the world. At the helm of this newly independent nation stood Jawaharlal Nehru, a figure often hailed as the architect of modern India. His leadership was pivotal during the formative years of the country, guiding it through the tumultuous period post-independence. Nehru, a staunch believer in democracy and secularism, laid the foundation for a modern, progressive India. He envisioned a nation where every citizen, regardless of their background, had a voice and a stake in its future. His vision was of an India that was both rooted in its rich cultural heritage and open to the world, a harmonious blend of tradition and modernity. He believed that India's strength lay in its diversity and its ability to adapt and evolve. An India that embraced science and technology while cherishing its ancient wisdom. Nehru was a strong advocate for scientific temper and rational thinking, promoting education and research as the cornerstones of national development. Nehru's leadership was instrumental in shaping India's foreign policy. He sought to position India as a leader among newly independent nations, advocating for peace and cooperation on the global stage. He advocated for non-alignment during the Cold War, a stance that earned India respect on the global stage. This policy allowed India to maintain its sovereignty and avoid entanglement in the superpower rivalry. Domestically, he focused on industrialization, education, and social reform. Nehru believed that these were the pillars upon which a strong and self-reliant India could be built. He believed that a strong industrial base was crucial for India's economic growth and self-reliance. Nehru's policies aimed at transforming India from an agrarian economy to an industrial powerhouse. Under his leadership, India embarked on an ambitious program of dam building and industrialization. These projects were seen as symbols of progress and modernity, intended to provide the necessary infrastructure for a growing nation. These projects, though criticized by some, were aimed at propelling India into the industrial age. Critics argued about the environmental and social impacts, but Nehru remained steadfast in his belief that these were necessary steps for the nation's future. Nehru's legacy is complex and multifaceted. While he is celebrated for his visionary leadership and contributions to nation building, his tenure was not without its controversies and challenges. He is both revered and criticized, his achievements often overshadowed by the challenges that India continues to face. Yet his vision and efforts laid the groundwork for the India we see today, a nation striving to balance its rich heritage with the demands of a modern world. The 1960s saw India on the brink of famine. Decades of agricultural stagnation had left the country dependent on food aid. It was in this hour of crisis that the Green Revolution took root. This period of agricultural transformation saw the introduction of high-yielding varieties of wheat and rice, along with modern farming techniques. The Green Revolution, spearheaded by scientists like M.S. Swaminathan, transformed India from a food-deficient nation to one that was self-sufficient in grain production. The impact of this revolution went beyond just increased food production. It led to a rise in rural incomes, improved livelihoods, and a sense of hope in the countryside. However, the Green Revolution was not without its critics. The intensive use of fertilizers and pesticides raised concerns about environmental sustainability. Additionally, the benefits of the revolution were not evenly distributed, with some regions and communities benefiting more than others. Indira Gandhi, Nehru's daughter, emerged as a formidable political figure in her own right. She was not just a political heir, but a leader who carved her own path in the tumultuous landscape of Indian politics. She is remembered for her decisive leadership, her unwavering commitment to India's national interests, and her controversial decision to declare a state of emergency in 1975. This period, known as the Emergency, was marked by significant political and social upheaval. The Emergency, as it came to be known, was a dark chapter in India's democratic history. It was a time when the country was gripped by fear and uncertainty, and the very fabric of democracy was put to the test. Indira Gandhi argued that the emergency was necessary to restore order and discipline in a country facing political turmoil and economic instability. She believed that strong measures were required to bring the nation back on track. However, her critics saw it as a blatant power grab that stifled dissent and eroded democratic institutions. They argued that the emergency was an excuse to silence her political opponents and consolidate her power. During the emergency, civil liberties were suspended, the press was censored, and political opponents were jailed. The government exercised unprecedented control over the media, and many journalists were imprisoned for their dissenting views. The emergency ended in 1977, but its legacy continues to haunt India. The period left an indelible mark on the nation's collective memory, serving as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked political power. It serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of democracy and the importance of safeguarding civil liberties. The lessons learned from the emergency continue to resonate in contemporary political discourse. Despite the controversies, Indira Gandhi remains a popular figure in India. Her legacy is complex, marked by both admiration and criticism. Her supporters admire her for her strong leadership, her commitment to the poor, and her role in liberating Bangladesh. They view her as a leader who was willing to make tough decisions for the greater good of the nation. Indira Gandhi's impact on India is undeniable. Her tenure as Prime Minister was marked by significant achievements and equally significant controversies. She remains a figure of immense historical importance whose life and legacy continue to be studied and debated. By the late 1980s, India's economy was in dire straits. Years of socialist policies had led to stagnation and inefficiency. In 1991, under the leadership of Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao, India embarked on a path of economic liberalization. This marked a significant departure from the socialist policies of the past and ushered in an era of economic reforms. The reforms of 1991 dismantled the license, reduced tariffs, and opened up the Indian economy to foreign investment. This led to a surge in economic growth, with India witnessing unprecedented levels of prosperity in the following decades. The IT industry in particular flourished, turning India into a global hub for software development and outsourcing. However, the benefits of this economic growth were not shared equally. While the urban middle class prospered, millions in rural India continued to languish in poverty. The gap between the rich and the poor widened, leading to social tensions and unrest.